Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour. I have been told to speak in English this morning. As a Swiss, we try to speak with our little accent, of course also French. To bring you to a little bit to our world, what is FreeNSpeed about? FreeNSpeed is about capturing the changes in the mobility industry. I stress mobility. I do not want to use the name automobiles only because mobility maybe in the past was defined as public transportation and individual transportation by cars, but in the tomorrow of this world, I think it will be a whole chain of interaction, of intermodular movement of our body from A to B. There are many, many changes coming along the way in the automotive industry, and one of the most important one I'd like to address with quite simple questions. And I know and I can see partially that all of you have a smartphone in your pocket, right? Now, a question to you all, what kind of a processor is in your smartphone? Does anybody know? I can see a hand going up, okay. Oh, one. Okay, at least 1, 2. So 2 out of, I don't know, maybe 200 people, that's a very small percentage. But we can continue. What kind of a resolution is in your screen? Maybe the 2 same hands, okay. Still we're in a very small percentage. And as the last question to that respect, what is the capacity of your battery? You know, okay, but everybody else does not know. What does that tell me? It tells me that you certainly did not buy the smartphone you have in your pocket out of the reason of your processors, of your battery capacities. You had different things on your mind, which could be user experience, could be ecosystem, could be design, could be branding, but hardware. Now, I ask myself, what is the likelihood that this perception might be taken to different industries? Industries like the car, for example. Remember the times where we were really going for V8s and for horsepower and torque and acceleration, where publicity said, you know, this has 6 speeds and whatever. Maybe this is a thing of the past also in the mobility industry, that you take it for granted, whatever is inside, and you aim for different values. Values which define the big themes of the mobility of tomorrow, which, as we know, starts with defining the ownership and the use of the car quite differently. In the past, we all owned a car. There were maybe taxis we used, which we did not own, we just used, or public transportation. But now we have companies, 60 billion of market value, 60 billion in market value, which is called Uber. Uber doesn't employ 1,000 people, doesn't manufacture one product, but has 2/3 of the value, or is more valuable, by the way, if I talk in French terms, than PSA. PSA has a market value of 30, so it's 2 times the value of PSA, which manufactures many, many cars per year. How could this happen? This happens because 2 industries are merging, an industry of IT and the industry of mobility. And personally, I foresee that the model of sharing, of not owning, of using will even accelerate. We see companies like Lyft, and Uber talks about now buying 100,000 S-classes from Mercedes-Benz. At the moment, they can drive autonomously. Then why should you own a car? You just order it. By the way, you won't use your smartphone because the smartphone will be a thing of the past. You order your part to come. So one big theme, ownership versus the usage, but also the experiences. We have in the past a manual experience of the car, but now it starts to be all digital. The screen starts to pop up, they become bigger and bigger, because I personally feel whatever you used to have at home, whatever you used to have in your office, one day you want to see in your car. So the small screens being utilized, except in a Tesla where there's a 17-inch screen, I think is the big future, that people want to have a digital experience and not really a physical anymore. The big question, and we'll see that also in a few minutes also in more detail, what is the services and what is hardware? So far, people made money on the hardware. They made a car, they sold a car, and they maybe serviced this, and that was it. Today, if you look at the revenues of Apple on an iPhone, of the 30–40%, they have a margin. It's 5% on the hardware, and 35% is on services. Services like iTunes, apps, and whatever is integrated. And this service trend will not stop in the automotive industry. We see it in real life. Take, as another example, Airbnb. Today, the biggest host of beds in the world, but they don't own a single bed. And that industry will not stop also in the car industry. But the good question now is, will I buy a car in the future because of my experience, my user experience, how it's being set up in the inside, or is it still the good old brand? I'm, quite honestly, not quite sure what's the relationship between branding in the future and the user experience. But I know for sure that branding will lose to some respects in the mobility industry, and the user experience, especially if you share it, will become much, much more important, that people are used to. If I hit this, it will do that, it'll pop up, and it has a graphic design. And here we are in the digital world. And as a result of it, the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, as they are called, they are up for big, big challenges. We heard the word of codec just before, and just in short, the car manufacturers of today could end up like the codecs of tomorrow if they don't understand what is happening. And I'm convinced that what is happening much, much, much quicker than what we anticipate. It's not a matter of 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It's a matter of 5 or 10 years. We're taking away the powertrain, which is really the expertise of the car manufacturer to build a combustion engine which is reliable, which does not emit too much emissions, and we're taking that away. We are replacing that with an electric motor. So what's my differentiation? I don't hear any noise anymore. Big complaint in Formula One, by the way, and that's a trend where the manufacturer has to react. You have been certainly reading about the result of Tesla's launch of Model 3, 200-odd million cars sold on the internet with no discount. It's not a matter of how many cars are sold. It's the matter of what's happening in our brains with that number, with that message. And despite Tesla only manufactures a small amount of numbers, they make a noise like Mercedes, BMW, and Audi together. And they change and influence the people and the buyers of tomorrow. And we have automation knocking at the door, automation which will happen maybe starting in 4 years' time on selected stretches of freeway, but which will redefine the use of mobility altogether. But it's also the fight between the old world, I call it Stuttgart in my terms, and Palo Alto, the software, and who's going to win. Automation is not very trivial. If I were to ask you, what do I want to tell you with that? I probably would get 200 different definitions. And this is what the machine exactly needs to figure out in urban traffic, what a person means by waving. And this software we don't have yet. It'll be a software which needs to be intuitive, which needs to be adaptive, and which needs to be able to learn. But safety and data security, of course, is a big, big issue. I mean, the thief of the past used some hammer or wire to steal a car. In the future, your iPad or your smartphone is good enough. A car which is driving automated emits 3 gigabytes of data per hour. Imagine only in Lyon, if there is a certain percentage of cars driving around, 3G, 4G, 5G is not good enough. You have so many data being emitted. And at the end of the day, again, we have to ask ourselves about the value chains. What makes us use by mobility in the future? Thank you for listening.